NBA Today coming to you live from OKC, and this city belongs to the MVP, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. What a night he had to tie up this NBA Finals series, and he put on a clinic here of how to use screens. This is our Hyundai electric moment here, Perk.
I mean, look, using a ball screen, and I love how it's high, right? They set it high up the floor. That way he has the ability to attack downhill, gives you that shoulder, rises above the defender, knockdown shot. Here you go again. He rejects the screen. Now he's getting downhill again, and what we call this, from the top of the key, Malika, little slippery heel.
This is what they were doing all game long, though. It's the space and how high they're setting these. Yeah. 33 feet up.
Why he's a nightmare is because he's excellent at splitting screens and hard and very shifty, but also he's great finishing with both hands at the rim through contact.
Well, this is the longest distance in his career that you're seeing these screens set, and it showed in his scoring performance. Here's what Rick Carlisle had to say when he was talking about the offensive performance of the league MVP.
Shai, you can mark down 34 points before they even get on the plane tomorrow, for the next game. I mean, the guy's going to score.
Score he did, but he also assisted Brian.
Yeah, the big difference in this game was how much he was getting his teammates involved. Look at this. He could have gone to the hole here, maybe even gotten fouled, but he's got a better shot out there. He had 3 assists in game 1, fewest of the playoffs. This game, 8 assists, completely different mindset.
And later on, once again, he draws the attention of 3 Pacers here, throws it out to Aaron Wiggins for the 3.
That's target practice.
8 assists as well in game 2 here. Let's take a listen to SGA with Scott Van Pelt after the game.
It's hard to win a series losing both at home. It's just hard. You set yourself back so much, and we knew that going into the game. The trick is trying to manufacture that desperation when it's not organic.
That's well said.
Yeah. But, yeah, we had one goal in mind tonight, and that was to get a W, and we did so.
And he has scored 72 points in games 1 and 2, right? Look at this company. It's the most points in a player's first 2 career finals games in NBA history, just ahead of 01 Iverson, by the way, happy belated birthday, and 91 Jordan. What exactly, Perk? I mean, you've said I'm running out of things to say about SGA, but this is history that we're witnessing.
You damn right it is. Look, he's the best perimeter player in basketball. He's knocking at the door of being the best player in basketball.
That was a solid knock. How did you?
He's efficient like Jordan. He's relentless like Kobe Bryant. When it comes down to how he attacks and how efficient he is, especially from the mid-range, right? When you talk about the guy that's leading the postseason in mid-range jump shots, that's him. 6'6", long arms, could post you up however you want it. Is going to create space, turnarounds over both shoulders. He's dethroned Kevin Durant, in my opinion, right now as the best scorer in the league. He has 0 flaws. Those finishes he have at the basket, when he's on the right side of the basket, then he scoop you with the left, or he's on the left side of the basket and he scoop you with the right in traffic. Do you know how hard that is to do? They don't have people doing that. He's doing it over towers, and he's doing it with confidence, swag, and a certain amount, just a little bit of arrogance. Like he knows he's him.
But that's going to be the task now of OKC to slow down SGA. Perk's already laughing. How do they do that?
Look, it's the healthy amount of arrogance. The one that makes your teammates feel confident walking on the floor with you. He got that, I try not to say it. It's been like a week, that aura of greatness. But you guys, I think what blows my mind is you see the categories that he's in with those great players. And maybe it reminds you a little bit more of Jokic because maybe the flash is not there like an MJ or the swag about Kobe. But the reality is efficiency is sexy. Effectiveness is sexy. Consistency is sexy. I love that aspect of his game. True Hoops is back. And again, I said he brought back that mid-range. And what blows my mind is this man is 26 years old.
Yeah.
And they're on the youngest team, or is it maybe the second youngest in play-by-play era, whatever we categorize our nerds over there. Say, one of the youngest teams in the NBA Finals. He's 26. You have iterations. You have a decade ahead of his greatness with him mastering his craft at this level. It's beautiful.
We're getting better at categorizing what it is that Shai does. We're not getting any better at answering the question, what do the Pacers need to do?
Last night was the 83rd game he scored over 25 points.
Oh my gosh.
83rd game. Okay, so you're not keeping his points off the board. That's not happening. Okay, so what can the Pacers do to make it in the win zone, right? So in game 1, they had him take 30 shots. They kind of stopped his teammates from getting as involved. That's one thing you can do. So 38 points on 30 shots, that's still pretty good, by the way. Like, almost anybody would take that efficiency, but it's not an A-plus game for him. And they kept those assists down. Also, what you don't see on that graphic, he had 8 free throws in game 1, which sounds like a lot for the average person, but for him is slightly below average. Last night, 12 free throws. So you have to win the margins. Keep him off the line. Keep those free throws down to 7 or 8. Don't let him get double-digit free throws. Try to prevent his teammates from getting him 7, 8, 9, 10 assists.
Right.
Try to get him to get those efficiency, the shot numbers up a little bit. That's the only way you can stop him. He's getting his 30. You got to stop him from generating a bunch of other points.
So I have a question, because clearly the calculus is very hard. Like, this is AP level math. Like, this is, or BC, calculus BC. Perk, is the only thing that you can do ruffle his feathers? Because we saw that also work in game 1. I mean, like, he went back and forth.
He specializes in not getting his feathers.
That's my point.
But what I'm saying is, you heard his interview on, I think it was Saturday after practice, and he said, I watched the game, I learned from it, and I moved on. And right there was growth. Whatever happened in game 1, he moved on. That didn't carry over. Now, his facial expressions throughout the course of that game with that little cocky smirk he be making, like, who is these people? Like, that's never going nowhere. But again, it's just like, I've never seen nothing like this before, really, from the perimeter. Let me say not before, in this era, right? In this era of basketball, in my era. And so when I think about Jokic, like, I think about the run Jokic was having before we saw him in this series. We were like, he's unstoppable, and that's what SGA is on right now.
Made just 3 of 11 shots on his way to scoring 15 points. His 3 made field goals, 27% shooting, both his worst in any game this postseason. So let's take a listen to Pascal after the game.
Yeah, I mean, they swarm a lot. They do a good job of that. I mean, yeah, they use their hands a lot. I mean, we're not going to get into fouls or no fouls, but whatever. I mean, I think they're just being aggressive, and we gotta be stronger with the ball. We can't let that speed us up. We still gotta play under control. That's what we gotta find a way to do.
You see what he averaged against the Knicks, Brian. How did they get him going?
Well, one of the things that he was referencing there is he's having difficulty when he's going to the basket. He's getting beat up a little bit. This is their strategy. Their strategy is to make it very physical in the paint. So they may need to find some ways to get him into sweet spots, in the mid-range and then in the three-point range to get him into more comfortable spots, because he did have a little bit of a stretch in the second quarter yesterday where he got some free looks to the paint, but they are determined to rough him up when he gets on the inside, and so far it's working.
I mean, I wonder if, with him and Tyrese Halliburton, we don't see too much pick and roll between the two, like some more two-man game, because they're trying to utilize him as 6'8", 6'9" on the post-ups. But do you realize how frustrating it is when you have smaller guards getting to your legs? Because that's the message. No, real talk. That's the message that is preached throughout the locker room. Like, when you go get cracked back, look, I want you to see this for a second. All right, he have Aaron Wiggins on him. Just look how low Aaron Wiggins is on him. This on the box out. All right, he's fighting again. Watch SGA. I'm going to fight to get around. I'm going to keep, like, that is hard. They're doing their work early. Like, people who guard people on the post, they say, do your work early. They're touching him up. They're getting to his legs. They're fronting. The weak side is coming over when they try to lob pass at the top. It's very frustrating. So we talk about Rick Carlisle, and he is a great coach. He's going to have to dive deeper into his bag now.
Well, 2 things. If they play with a little bit more pace, because I think you said this before the series started, whoever dictates the pace or the possession game typically has an advantage or disadvantage versus the Pacers. If they play with more pace, that means they're playing small ball, which means he has the 6'6", 6'7", 6'8" advantage on their guys, on the Thunder. And then the second thing here is when you think about tinkering up these matchups, like, I'm really curious to see if that they use him, like you said, like in the isolation situations, or as Malika, you said, the secondary ball handler, because they've done an excellent job neutralizing. I said Oklahoma City Thunder, they're like the neutralizers, neutralizing your go-to primary scorer and ball handler. Maybe just getting him going more, initiating the offense, getting to his sweet spots will help him. But I will lastly say, like, I thought he still was playing well. He had a solid game, and to me, he's been the most consistently aggressive. Pascal Siakam.
He was 3 for 11.
I know, but when Tyrese Halliburton was struggling, like, they were going to him in the offense, and that's when Tyrese is not aggressive, it puts more pressure on Pascal. If Tyrese is more aggressive, then you can get him going.
They had him in their pocket last night. He was not going last night. He struggled. He had it going in game 1. Last night, he was in their pocket.
Well, the Indiana Pacers are going home, and we know that they have thrived in this postseason when they are playing back in Indianapolis.
I'm on fire. It's EDA on the